Hey, 75 episodes in. Welcome, everyone, to the 75th episode of the Retro Gamers. Larry here.
And Anthony here. We have entered our twilight years.
We have. We've made it to 75. What is that? 75 is what? Golden anniversary or something?
I thought 50 was gold.
I don't know. Charcoal then?
Yeah, dust.
Probably dust in the wind. Exactly.
It's the dust anniversary.
75 episodes strong. Technically, like 78 maybe. We had a couple specials in there, but
we did.
We're trucking along, man. So, how things been?
Oh, things have been. That's about it. So I just got back from Las Vegas.
Nice.
It's been a wonderful weekend there. I was playing in a hockey tournament called Cincinnati Classic, which was really cool. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, you can look it up online. But it's it has like 20 different sports. It's almost like an Olympics type of thing.
Really?
Yeah. So like kickball, softball, I think. They do 5K, 10K runs.
Oh wow.
Ice hockey, which is what I played. So I played. So I spent the weekend. I played four games in 3 days. My team came in 5th place out of 6.
Oh, wow.
And
but at least still not last.
We weren't last. That's all that mattered to us. So so all in all, I mean, everything was pretty cool, and had a great time. And it was Las Vegas. I always love going to Las Vegas. So.
Nothing wrong. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for what we're going to talk about today.
Exactly.
Cool. So people, longtime listeners of the show will know that there are a couple of hot spots for retro gamers in Las Vegas.
Yes. The first one is, and they're right next to each other too, which makes it very
highly convenient. Yeah.
Exactly. So actually, there were 3 places. I still didn't go into the 3rd place because I just didn't have time. But there's a place there called Nerdgasms, and it's like collectible. It's a collectible store.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that's the place I haven't gotten to yet. Because by the time I'm done with the other 2, I always seem to run out of time and have to go.
I don't remember you ever mentioning Nerdgasms.
Yeah, it was there. I just never paid attention to it. I didn't pay attention to it the last time. This time I knew it was there. I just didn't go in. But the other 2 places are, first off, there is the Pinball Hall of Fame, which is located in Las Vegas on Tropicana Avenue.
Very cool.
Basically, it's exactly how it sounds. It is a ton of pinball machines. They date all the way back to the 1940s. I think last year I commented on these when I visited over.
Oh, you certainly did. This year you live streamed a little bit. You did a little bit, giving a little bit of a tour there.
Yeah, this year I decided to give a tour through live stream. I would have loved to have played some pinball on the live stream, but I was by myself, so I couldn't multitask in that respect. Just a slew of pinball machines. I mean, like I said, dating all the way back to the 40s. You have like these old school ones that are really cool, and then a lot of recent ones. They have Star Wars, Terminator. They have Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man. Some of the ones, you and I remember as a kid, like Twilight Zone, WWF Royal Rumble,
yes,
which ate quite a few of my quarters. There's a really awesome X-Men pinball machine there that was cool. I think it was based off the animated series, which was even better. I think it was.
Nice.
There was a Nightmare on Elm Street one, which I thought was really cool.
I like the some of the ones I saw, the bands. Especially AC/DC, I'd love to.
Yeah, they had AC/DC, Kiss, Metallica. I think was one of them.
And Aerosmith.
And Aerosmith. Yes. Yep. So yeah, they were all hanging around there, and then as you continued around in other areas, there were actual arcade games.
Yes, that was cool.
So
too.
Not just pinball, and I ran into some really cool ones like Tron, Centipede. Your favorite, Miss Pac-Man, which they had 2 of.
Really?
They had 2 Miss Pac. Yeah, they had 2 Miss Pac-Man, and they were both occupied while I was there.
As they should be.
Probably people getting a higher score than you. And
probably
they also had the good old. They also had those good old fashioned verses from Nintendo.
Yes, I saw
so
those,
versus.
Yeah.
They had it's a dual cabinet for Versus Hogan's Alley and Duck Hunt.
I never seen that. I didn't even know they made that one. I knew about the Versus Super Mario Brothers and the Punch Out but yeah, Hogan's Alley and Duck Hunt. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know, and it was a dual cabinet, so it was like they came together,
which is pretty sweet too.
Yeah, which was pretty unique. They also, and to your point, which you just said, they also had Versus Super Mario Brothers and Mario Brothers, the original.
Yes. Which are slowly becoming available on the Switch. So,
yes, exactly.
I wanted to mention something because you had it, but you didn't focus on it, which I don't blame you. But it caught my eye. There was a sign on the Versus Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, so some of the older arcades had signs on them that basically said either button stick or we don't have replacement parts on them. So basically. If you basically they were, and most of them said, if you bang on the machines, we're throwing you out.
Oh, good. All right.
Donkey Kong also had that sign on it. But yeah, it's just basically, I guess they have issues with people coming there and trying to destroy the machines,
especially
because they're getting
pinball. Because pinball usually shake the machine, but you end up getting a tilt anyway, so that's built into the machine. But I understand that.
Yeah, especially some of the older ones. I
Yeah.
mean, because if those things break, it's not like you can get replacement parts.
Not really, not anymore.
Right. So so they had signs on certain games that were a bit more fragile than others.
Okay.
So yeah, but again, this was my second or third trip. I think it was my second trip to the Pinball Hall of Fame, and it was definitely just as awesome as it was the last time.
Awesome.
I did play quite a bit of pinball, and I reassured myself that I'm horrible at it.
What? You're not a pinball wizard?
No, I'm definitely not a pinball wizard. Never been my thing. So it was great. And then, of course, after getting my pinball yayas out, I went across the street to one of my favorite gaming stores, which is a Gamer's Paradise.
Yes.
And this is also a store that I reported on last year when I went there. I'll post pictures that I took again this time around.
Okay.
And the cool thing about it is that they have display cases with every single system ever made, basically.
That's nice.
Starting from the Odyssey up.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was very sad to report that included in one of the cases was the Virtual Boy.
Good for them. Good for them.
So unfortunately, there is one that still exists.
Well, I got some news
Possibly
for you.
in working order.
I got news for you a little bit later on that you'll be happy about. So.
Oh God, I can't wait. And then the other cool thing about the store is like the guy who opened that store, like he's been collecting his entire life, obviously, because like on the top he's got display shelves, and on those display shelves are basically every system you can imagine, but also every like anything related to video games. So like you name a video game board game, like the old Pac-Man, the old Legend of Zelda, and so on and so forth. He's got it displayed up there. The little handheld arcades of like Miss Pac-Man,
yes.
and
I had those.
Has those sitting up there too.
Nice.
They basically have everything.
I missed those.
And it's really cool because like the guy who was working at behind the counter was telling me, he's like, the owner would never sell this stuff. He's like, he had somebody come in and offer him like $2,000 for something that he had up there, and the guy looked at him and said no.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He's had it for so long. He'll never get it again.
Exactly. So and then of course the cool thing about the store is they sell games, and not just new games. They sell retro games as well. So I did myself a little bit of shopping.
Nice. You always got to bring that extra bag, extra carry on when you hit the Gamer's Paradise.
Well, thankfully I drove, so I could have just
So you hold them back.
Yeah, I could have just loaded up a huge box of games. But I only wound up picking up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games.
All right, not bad.
And it was I will say again, I know I've brought this up on the show before, but if you are collecting games, that app that I downloaded, CLZ Games, is a godsend, because while I was standing in the store, I was able to look at CLZ and then see if I had the games that I was purchasing.
Yeah, I have.
So
to,
that actually
I have to now
nice.
start downloading that. And I told some people about it too with CLZ. So hopefully CLZ got some more downloads.
Yeah, hopefully. Because we're definitely sponsoring them quite a bit. Anyway, so Yeah, so I definitely used the app while I was in the store to figure out what games I was missing, and I was actually surprised that a couple of the games I picked up I was missing because I thought I had them. First thing I picked up was for N64. Now, this game a lot of people did not like, but for some reason I really enjoyed it. But it was Mission Impossible for Nintendo 64.
I don't think I ever played it. Nice box.
Yeah, the box was in good condition. It doesn't have the instruction booklet, but I was very happy with that.
Very cool.
And then for the Xbox, I pretty much got like almost that, like they were all different systems. There were two for the same, but everything else is different. But X-Men Legends.
Yes, X-Men
for
Legends.
the original Xbox. Now I have X-Men Legends 2. I don't know what happened in my first one, but apparently it went missing. But and this one does have the instruction booklet. Which is
full,
cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's in excellent condition, which is good. This game's very common though, so it's not expensive to get. So if you've never played X-Men Legends, I highly recommend that you pick it up because it is fantastic.
It really is.
Yep. Moving on to the Sony PlayStation. Now this is one I know I owned, but apparently it went missing. So I picked it up again for a whopping $3.
Breaking the bank.
Yes, I broke the bank for WWF Warzone.
Nice.
Yes,
you did have that.
I believe
remember that.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, there were only like 12 superstars.
Wasn't a lot in there, yeah.
Yeah, it was very short, very, very small, and it made me wonder. It actually made me think about like who decides which 12 go in. When they had smaller ones, because this one has the headbangers in it, and I can't imagine why they would be in this game if they were so limited in terms of roster.
What?
Unless maybe they were tag team champions at the time.
Oh wow.
But anyway, so WWF Warzone. Moving on to the Sega Genesis, I picked up Spider-Man and the X-Men: Arcade's Revenge.
I was looking for that game this weekend. I didn't find it. I found Spider-Man, like a different Spider-Man X-Men game, which may be Arcade's Revenge. When I think about it,
it probably is because it came out for Genesis, and I think it was on a handheld as well.
Does it say Arcade's Revenge on the front?
No, it doesn't. Oh yeah, it does.
Oh.
It does. It's just like it's down here.
Oh wow, good
it's
lord.
Small. Mostly it says Spider-Man and the X-Men.
That's probably the one I was looking at then for Super Nintendo. Okay.
Yeah, they have it for Super Nintendo as well. So I picked up the Genesis one because they didn't have the Super Nintendo one. Plus, it had the case.
Clear, yeah.
The art was in really good condition, so I was kind of happy with that.
Cool.
So, Spider-Man and the X-Men, and then these are my three favorite pickups. One for the Super Nintendo. Again, I couldn't believe that I did not have this anymore or had lost it, but Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Wow, where did your original go?
I have no idea. I really don't know where it went.
Very nice.
But this, cartridge only, but in really good condition. So I'm very happy that I have that. Arguably the best Zelda game of all time.
Top 3, in my opinion.
Yep. And then I picked up Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, cartridge only.
That's a nice looking cart.
Yeah, cartridge is in great shape. The artwork is pristine.
Yeah,
it's
look at that.
all there, no rips or tears or anything like that. So very happy to grab that.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson actually lives in Las Vegas. I was hoping to bump into him so I can get it signed, but
I don't think you'd want to bump into Mike Tyson.
No. Otherwise, he'd come back minus an ear, or with several concussions. And then, last but not least, I actually almost bought this game in August when I was at the gaming expo that we went to, the Long Island. Long Island?
You were Long Island Retro Game, yeah.
Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. But I did not, so I wound up picking it up at A Gamer's Paradise, but Maniac Mansion.
Oh, in box. Very cool.
In box. The box is a little bit warpy, so that brought the price down a little bit. But and then the cart itself is actually in excellent shape. It does not have the instruction booklet.
Oh wow! Yeah, look at that. That looks real good.
But the cart is super clean considering it's a white label.
Right.
It's in excellent condition. So this was one of my favorite games to play on the NES too. So I'm really happy I grabbed that.
Good.
And those were the 7 I wound up picking up. So overall, a really good haul. And then I just, now we're recording this now. I just got home from Las Vegas, and I found a box waiting for me, a shipping box. And what was in that shipping box? But none other than the Super Mario cereal that I couldn't find in store anywhere and had to order online.
Look at that thin box. I thought the box would be a little bit thicker. But
No, it's a thin box, which I'm kind of happy about because then that means I won't eat as much of it.
And you know what? You got the cereal, and you actually told me where you got it. So then I hopped on, and I actually, as well, have a box of Super Mario cereal that came Friday, I think.
Very nice.
So now we both have Super Mario cereal, and now we have to collaborate with Josh and Brandon to allow the eating to commence.
Yes, and it will be glorious.
and very awkward.
Yes.
All right, so it looks like you did good over there with the pinball. I love the live stream, like I said, which everyone can see on the Facebook page. And with the games that you picked up, that was some good games, especially, starting to pick up like the N64 and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was all really good. I like the variety that I wound up getting, just to continue my collection. And, it's just, it was a good haul. I could have easily spent a lot more money there. There's no question about it. There were actually a couple of systems I had my eye on.
Really?
But I really just have no room for them right now. So I'm going to just continue buying games instead.
All right. You know what? I don't blame you. My problem is I'm starting to eye systems, and that's not going to be good.
Yeah. Now, had I won money in Vegas, which I did not do, I would have gone back to the store and bought everything. But, that didn't work out so well.
What about the whole thing?
Exactly.
All right. Well, still good stuff. Good stuff, my friend. And yeah, we'll put pictures up on the Facebook page and on the Instagram feed. You check it all out. Well, you weren't the only one who went retro gaming shopping.
Yes, I believe you did some shopping at Game On again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're going to be getting a lot of my money. So I did. I went out because did it arrive? Nope, it would have arrived this weekend. So after we recorded last, I got my Super Retron, my NES, my Super Nintendo clone. Came in the mail.
Excellent.
From Hyperkin, and it, like I expected, works like a charm. So
yeah. Do you have trouble pulling the cartridges out of it?
No. Well, it's got an eject button.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And actually a much smoother eject button than the original Super Nintendo had. The newer ones I got, look, that was a complaint about the NES clone from Hyperkin, that it pretty much, you can't get the carts out, which
correct.
Mine I have trouble with. But the newer ones, like a buddy of mine just got one recently, and they must have fixed that problem because his have no problem getting.
Oh, well, that's good
yeah,
at least.
So. The Super Retron working great. Got it all hooked up right next to the Retron HD1, and of course, since I have a Super Nintendo again, I went out and I bought majority of Super Nintendo games. The pictures will go up. Actually, I think I posted pictures already on.
I believe you already did.
So.
Yes.
So basically, though, just to run it down, they're all behind me, so I'm not going to be able to show anything like he was showing me. But I don't have any of the boxes anyway. First of all, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, baseball game on Super Nintendo. Ken Griffey Jr. presents Major League Baseball.
Oh, yes, I remember that one.
Loved that game. Picked up why I have to download CLZ, because I actually stood there going, do I have this game? I thought I had this game already. WWE Raw.
You didn't have Raw?
Well, I didn't know. I mean, I had it originally, but everything was gone. So,
true.
Yeah. Because I thought I got it when I ordered the crate, the video game crate, but I guess not because I couldn't find it anywhere. I picked up actually from recommendation of a friend of mine, Mario, who accompanied me to Game On, and plus Tristan as well at Game On. Both of them almost at the same time said, pick up this game, Batman Returns.
Really? I never played that one.
Neither did I. And I played it before I tried it while I was there. Both of them, both Tristan and Mario, were both like, it's a great beat 'em up, like Final Fight, in vein of Final Fight, or Maximum Carnage, which I'm looking for Maximum Carnage right now. So okay. I put it in, and I only played a little bit, because I was in the store and I had other things going on. But Batman Returns, we both, I think, missed out originally because that game played amazing. A good classic beat 'em up. Just the graphics are amazing. Hence, it is Batman Returns, so we all know the story of the movie. Definitely, if you can find it, pick it up. I'm actually going to go as far as saying not better than, but I'm going to rank it as far as Batman games right up there with Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Wow.
as far as just fun gameplay. So I picked that one up. I also picked up the Super Game Boy.
Which is nice, and you've been telling me to pick that up for a while now.
It's awesome. And because I still got a ton of Game Boy games, which I already started playing. It was funny, when we were there was a bunch of Game Boy games as well that the crew there at Game On were cleaning, testing out. So I played a few different games. But also because of that, I ended up picking up on Game Boy, which I've never played before, Batman, the animated series.
Ooh. Great. Is it similar to the Super Nintendo version or completely different?
No, it plays almost like, I would say it plays almost like Batman on NES as far as the type of gameplay. A little bit open-ended, a little bit as far as you can kind of just jump around the board, but there's eventually an ending to get to. Runs smooth for Game Boy, runs smooth. And again, I've never played it before. I never owned it, so that I'm looking forward to really getting into that.
Nice.
Also on the NES, just because it was there, it was inexpensive, and I haven't played it in a while. Bionic Commando.
Oh, that's a
NES.
cool game.
Classic, yep. And what I purchased as well, now it's a repro, which is, it never dawned on me to ask you, and I know you're going, maybe going back to Japan soon, but I'll take the repro. It's okay for now. Super Back to the Future Part 2.
Yes, I saw that in Japan when I was there, and I was actually very surprised because I'm like, I don't remember this game. And I don't think because it actually
never came out here. Yeah,
it never came out in the States. So I didn't pick it up, but it was there. So I may pick it up next time I go.
No, absolutely, you pick it up for yourself. We here in the U.S. got such cruddy Back to the Future games.
We did. How is this one?
Amazing. First of all,
is it translated into English?
Yes, I think it's in English.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know why some of the games over there are still in English. As soon as you put it in, first of all, you get the theme song. You actually get the theme song to Back to the Future.
Oh, perfect.
And a great sounding one, too. The graphics are very 16-bit. They're a bit bubbly, but it's not over the top. I'm still trying to work out the mechanics of the gameplays a little bit because you're on a hoverboard the whole time.
Oh, great.
But it's so much fun. And look, it's not the greatest game ever, but compared to the ones that we got
NES
here,
one?
even the Genesis ones, this game...
Oh, yeah. What was that? Back to the Future 3, right?
Yeah. This game is top-notch. So next time you go to Japan, check it out.
I remember the Genesis one. I can never get past the first level.
No one can, really.
Yeah.
So, so it's again, I have the repro, which is fine. I'm cool with that. So those are the games I picked up from Game On. And also, since getting the Super Retron, I also was able to play, and I actually live streamed it, played the 2 Zelda games, the ROM and the hack that I got.
Yes, how did those go?
Those are really fun. They're the ROM, which is Zelda BS Maps 1 and 2, I'm still trying to figure it out because clearly, since the game's not online... No.
Come on.
No. There's a time on it. There's something called Zelda time.
Okay.
And I still haven't figured it out yet, but it seems like at certain intervals, things happen automatically. I'm in a dungeon, and then all of a sudden, I get this power-up, and everyone on the screen disappears.
Oh.
It just happens randomly with
cool.
the time. I think what happens is when it was hooked up to the internet, you had also... weekly challenges to do.
Okay.
And I think also just eventually it may unlock something because what happens is I got through the first dungeon. Again, very short. Right. And then I'm in the second dungeon, but in the second dungeon you already need the raft.
Oh,
but
wow.
there's also a lot of the board is cut off. Not cut off. Well, yeah, cut off. I can't move forward. I think because back then you downloaded it a little bit at a time.
Oh.
So now I'm wondering, either unless there's a cave somewhere I'm missing, or I didn't go somewhere yet, I'm almost kind of trapped right now. So I'm trying to figure out what to do next.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that, Larry.
It's a bit confusing.
But you gotta pick up a copy for me so that I can play through it. Because you know me, I want to play through all things Zelda.
Trust me, I'm looking for it. Also, the other one I got was Zelda Parallel Worlds Remodel, which is a hack of Link to the Past, where Zelda is Link that is a little on the chubby side. I guess that's how they get around the copyright.
Yeah, chubby Link.
And again, because now this is almost a complete overhaul of Link to the Past. I again kind of lost, trying to figure out where to go. It's not necessarily to start off to get the sword and the shield from your uncle. It's in a different spot, so I haven't found it yet. You see me looking around on the live stream. Still fun, still a lot to do in that game, but they both work. Bottom line.
Oh, cool.
So that I'm happy about.
I am happy you're happy.
Oh, well, thank you. And
I guess.
Well, I'll make you happy.
Oh, gee.
So remember when I told you how Game On had acquired a couple of Virtual Boys, one of which was the one I actually bought at the Retro Expo during the summer?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, they are unfixable. And I will not.
Oh, no.
I will not be getting at least my Virtual Boy that I had originally purchased. So I'm gonna have to wait to see if another one ever comes through. But those two,
let me save you the trouble. It won't.
So those are just gonna go to the wayside.
Gee, Larry, I feel so badly for you.
And I don't know why you're smiling.
Oh well, I don't know. I'm sorry. Am I smiling? Am I?
So, but otherwise, the hauls were good. I think for both of us, we picked up some great games. You're going to be playing some great games. And this, I'm telling you, 2018 is going to be the year of the retro games. Not, well, the retro gamers, but also retro gaming. And we'll get into that in just a little bit.
All right, Larry, it's time for the Wacky Retro Game of the Week.
Love it. Love it.
And I've got a really good one, although I don't know. It's not super retro because it was released on the Xbox 360 in their marketplace in 2012. But it's a 2D game, so I thought maybe we can bend the rules a little bit on this
why
one.
not?
Not to mention the fact is, I think this will probably be one of the wackiest ones we've ever had on the show. So anyway, this week's wacky retro game is called The Hoochie Play. And it was developed by Kohei Gallery, I'm guessing. It's an anime-style 2D game. And it's based on the popular real-life children's game called Statues. So, basically, I guess Statues is it's a game you play where you're supposed to move up and try and tag
Red Light,
somebody
Green Light?
Yeah, it's red light, green light, basically.
Okay.
It's called Statues there. So when you're basically one player who is turns around and you have to move forward, and then when they turn around, you have to stop moving. If they catch you moving, you're out of the game.
Yep.
So in this game called Hoochie Play, your character is a perverted middle-aged Japanese man named Taro Haiban. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to get close to a bunch of cosplay girls without having the girls notice him. So the player has to wait until the girl faces away from them and then quickly alternate between pressing the two trigger buttons to move towards her. As soon as the girl turns around, you have to stop. On the way, you pass different items like alcoholic beverages, and you have to do them fast before the girl turns around. And basically you get experience points. Now, the weird thing about this is that the girls are in the process of getting dressed while he's sneaking up on them.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
Yeah. So, and then when you down the bottle of alcohol, it builds up your courage so that you can creep up on them faster. So that is pretty much the entire game of the Hoochie Play. And that is this week's wacky retro game.
All right. Well, Ant, this actually you were in Vegas. I don't know if you just missed it or if you were there but you were busy. So CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, was happening in Vegas.
Yeah, I know. It wrapped up right before I got there. I think it wrapped up the day before I arrived. Yep.
CES, basically almost like E3, but not necessarily for video games, though we're going to talk about some gaming stuff. Mostly just electronics, televisions, computers, headphones, things like that.
Yeah, you name it, they have it there.
Yeah, short of
basically
games. Games don't normally.
Anything like gadget-like in a way.
Exactly. Though there was some sweet brand new televisions, like 60, 70, 80-inch, 105-inch televisions.
Yeah, they're going out of their minds with televisions. I mean, pretty much it's just going to be walls.
I'll take it. I'll knock down this wall. It's a load-bearing wall.
Yeah,
put up a nice television.
Build a television wall.
Absolutely. But retro gaming was definitely represented at CES this year. Like I said before, earlier in the show, 2018 I think is going to be huge for retro gaming. I think the boom is happening.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, now that the fact that we're seeing things at CES really shows how far retro gaming is coming. In the U.S., I mean, when I don't remember hearing any news or very little news last year at CES, and then the year before that, I think it was just non-existent. So now, retro gaming is slowly carving itself out into some major events.
No doubt about it. And I know we talk about them, but look, these two companies are doing tremendous strides for retro gaming. I know there's other companies, but these two are sticking out to me. I know Ant's mentioned them a couple of times. I'm talking Hyperkin and Retrobit. These guys, and gals, they're doing good work. They're doing God's work when it comes to retro gaming.
Well, they're basically doing Nintendo and Sega's work when it comes to retro gaming. We'll put it that way.
And it's what and their take on this is smart, in my opinion. I mean, they're not putting out games; they're putting out systems. Like, look, you got the games, or you want to play the games, and everyone's got modern TVs now. Look, there is nothing wrong. I have an NES. I would love to own an actual Super Nintendo again. I have a Genesis in my closet, but I have a modern television. Even though it has AV components, it doesn't do it justice if you're not using HDMI.
No, you're correct. And as somebody who has a bunch of AV systems hooked up to his television, I mean, it's fine. It's serviceable. I mean, but yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be better for HDMI. So the fact that Hyperkin and Retrobit are coming out with systems that are that can play our old games on HDMI, it's absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm curious to see if they do move into the game sector. I don't know if that means they would have to get them licensed by Nintendo and Sega respectively, because they're coming out with their own systems. I'm not sure, if they can. I mean, it's possible that they can get away with making their own games.
Well, Retrobit has and is.
Well, there's your answer.
That kind of answers that. They're actually
done.
Retrobit's going to be putting out in the next few months an R-Type Revisited, I think it's called, which is R-Type 3 and Super R-Type on a Super Nintendo cartridge.
Well, that's awesome.
There you go.
Period.
So these clone systems, like I said, it's good. These are definitely suitable substitutes for modern TVs to play these games. Actually, Retrobit has their own console clones. They actually have one that's 3-in-1 that's coming out that is HDMI 720p. I forgot the name of it, forgive me. But it will play NES, Super Nintendo, and Genesis all in one system. I don't know if it'll play Japanese games, but it'll definitely play the U.S. games.
Wait, are you talking about the Retron 3?
No, that's Hyperkin.
Oh, okay.
Retrobit has its own, which looks like a Retron.
Oh, I'm just going to get all of these confused now.
No, Hyperkin, in my opinion, and this is just talking from experience because I own two of them right now, Hyperkin is fantastic with their clone systems. Yes, and also there have been reviews out there comparing Hyperkin to the Retro USB AVS Nintendo, and there's the Super NT that I had on order for a little while.
Oh, yes.
The comparison, and we'll call a spade a spade. Yes, Hyperkin systems. I don't know the technical terms behind it, but it's not as cloney, I guess, for lack of a better term. Like, it's not as.
Explain.
I'm trying to. You're the wordsmith around here. As close to a Super Nintendo without actually it being from Nintendo.
Oh, okay. So it's it's the closest non-licensed SNES console you've ever seen.
We'll take it. So Super NT definitely is close to a Nintendo Super Nintendo as you can get, which is why it was like $200 and something when I ordered it.
Right.
Worth it, and it comes with 2 games, don't get me wrong, still worth it. So Hyperkin isn't really that into it. And there's comparisons online where they show video comparisons of the like the Hyperkin HD, the NES clone, versus the AVS versus I think those were the 2. And yeah, the color may be off a little bit, the sound may be off a little bit, but not to a point where it's going to stop gameplay. Not to the point where it's going to ruin the gameplay. Honestly, I played Batman. They used Batman, Sunsource Batman, for the comparison.
Okay.
On the NES clone that I have, I didn't even realize because I forgot. He's a bit of more of a blue tint. They kind of called him like the Adam West Batman, which now I'm like, that's actually cool. I like that.
That's actually really cool.
Absolutely. Where when you play on like the AVS, you get that original purple look to him. But it doesn't, to me, it doesn't ruin it. And for $60 or $70 for the Super Nintendo, $40 for the Nintendo, I'm not looking for picture perfect quality. So a friend of mine made a good point when I was saying there's reviews online of someone, nothing bad, don't get me wrong, but like he really got down to the nitty gritty of the reviews. He was looking at Link to the Past and he zoomed in on the sprites and he was showing how the Hyperkin sprite maybe not as crisp as a Super Nintendo, the original Super Nintendo sprite, even hooking up a Super Nintendo with some sort of conversion wire to get it to HDMI. And my buddy goes, I don't know why that matters, because back in the day, everything was blurry because of the CRT TVs that we had. Who knew?
It's true.
Exactly. Who really knew? So that's why I'm like, great point. So, again, these clones, any clone system you're going to get is going to work out. But at CES, there was a picture that came out of Hyperkin showing off their Super Retron, showing off their Superboy SFC, which is a portable Super Nintendo, which you can also plug into your television. I don't think through HDMI, but you can plug it into your television. The Ultra Game Boy, which is really the first Game Boy clone that we're seeing. Not Hyperkin's first, but the first clone.
Yeah, and the Ultra Game Boy itself, I mean, the fact that, it has a rechargeable battery, I mean, that's ridiculously better than the Game Boy. I mean, what was it? Was the Game Boy 4 or 6 AA's?
It was 4. The Game Gear was 6.
Oh, okay, the Game Gear was 6. Well, you had to pay extra for the color, to get extra batteries. But the fact that you would run through batteries like crazy on that thing, a rechargeable battery, stereo speakers. Yeah. I mean, that's just awesome for a handheld.
Aluminum casing.
Even better, it's more durable.
Absolutely. It's got to feel the Ultra Game Boy from the looks and from what I heard and reading in reviews. Size-wise, it's like a heavier Game Boy Pocket. If anyone out there has ever played a Game Boy Pocket. So a little heavier there. Now, the screen has a blue tint to it. Now, the original Game Boy had a green tint. The Game Boy Pocket was actually straight up black and white. So this one's got a bit of a blue, but it's backlit. It's backlit is built into it, which is funny because then I bought the custom Game Boy that was done with the backlit on it. But now Hyperkin I have yet to read yay or nay to the point where if it's going to play Game Boy Color games. It'll play original Game Boy games, but we don't know about Game Boy Color. So we don't know if it's going to be a full color screen.
Well, I don't know. I mean, from the looks of it, since there's an image online of what it looks like, it does not look like a full color game. So I think it just plays standard Game Boy,
which is fine by me. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the better games were on regular Game Boy anyway, or even the Game Boy Color, the black cartridges that were able to play in Game Boy Color, but could still play on regular Game Boy. So that part's fine by me with that Ultra Game Boy. Now, that I'm looking forward to. I heard the rumor is it should be about $100, probably coming out. I heard anywhere from the end of this month to the end of this year, so who knows?
That's interesting.
Now, here's the thing that really got me looking at it, and nothing was officially announced. It was just a photo that was taken. But apparently Hyperkin's also working on an Atari clone and a Genesis clone. Yes,
and they look damn good, too. And, by the way, damn condensed.
Yes, small. They're tiny.
Yes. It's good. Yeah, Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, I mean, I love my original systems and they look great on the shelves. Don't get me wrong. I was like, but they're some of them are big and a little unwieldy, particularly my Sega Genesis with the Sega CD attached to it.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a bear. So seeing seeing Hyperkin come out with these systems that probably are really small, where you can fit maybe 4 or 5 of them on one shelf.
Absolutely.
I fully support this idea.
I mean, if you look at the photo, we'll post photo. I think I've shared the photo before. Like the Hyperkin, I'll call it the clone Genesis, or the Genesis clone. Probably the size. I don't know if anyone out there remembers the Genesis 3, the third design of the Genesis, which was way smaller. It was designed for compact. I remember I bought a Genesis 3 right before I went to college. Didn't hook up to Sega CD. It was just, and it was cheap too. So I think that looks like the Genesis will be about that small. The Atari one, lengthwise, depth-wise, not thickness, probably the size of an NES cart. Would you say
Yeah,
maybe?
that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, HDMI. Can you imagine playing Atari in HDMI? Like
No.
an Atari. Well,
it'll be.
Cartridge.
Yeah, I know. It'll be really funny to play a game like Adventure or Haunted House, where you're just basically a little square walking around the boards. It's like, wow, that square is really, really bright.
Clearest square you've ever seen.
Look at the detail on that square. I can't wait to pick up the arrow, which is the key.
It'll make me play E.T.
Oh, God, nothing will make me play E.T.
My friend Mario has actually beaten E.T.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not. You know what's funny? I have not beaten it because it's just stupid.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, basically.
So that was Hyperkin. They're going more systems. They do have a lot of good controllers for the Xbox One, PS2, and even even if you wanted to buy for your old school NES or Super NES, they're the controllers they sell that are workable on the NES and the Super Nintendo. Those work really well too. And I know, I sound like a pitchman, but honestly, if I didn't think this stuff would be worth it, I wouldn't even be bothering mentioning it. That's my passion coming out right now. So now here's something, Ant, that I think you are going to quite enjoy. Going over to Retrobit, where they even themselves are putting out, like I mentioned earlier, a clone system. They're doing a handheld that looks like a Game Boy that already has pre-installed over 300 games, all officially licensed. One of them being Mega Man 2.
Nice.
Just to give you an idea what kind of games are on there. But Retrobit, they're going more hardware as far as controllers because they signed a deal with Sega that they are producing officially licensed controllers for the original systems and for the PC, for the Mac, and stuff like that. So
yes,
when you hear that, that's one thing. But Ant, I want your opinion because you have the Genesis, you have your Dreamcast, you just got your Saturn, and these three systems, as much as all three of those systems, Retrobit is making controllers that look and feel like the original controllers. They're making them USB, so you can use them on the computer. They're also making the exact same controllers Bluetooth, and not only that, you can also buy a dongle. That's what it's called. A dongle that you can plug into your original systems and use the Bluetooth controllers on that. Imagine using a Bluetooth on the Genesis.
Yeah, no, this makes a huge difference for my retro gaming collection because if there's anything that's more obnoxious, especially now, because if you have a big living room like I do, and if you remember, retro games, the wires for the controllers weren't very long.
No, not
so
at all.
You couldn't sit that far away from the TV. So, like, for example, if I want to play my NES or my Super NES or my Genesis, it's like I gotta actually set a chair up closer to the television in my house or sit on the floor like I'm 4, And let's face it, I'm not 4 years old, so when I sit on the floor, it takes a little bit of work to get back up. So what's awesome about these now is that removes that. So I mean, this is probably one of the best things I've heard in terms of retro gaming because now I can just sit in my recliner, put my feet up and play whatever the hell I want on any retro system, or at least any Sega retro system, at least. I'm really excited about it, particularly for the Dreamcast, because I still, like I said, I've said this 100 times I think on the show, but I'm still so enamored by my Sega Dreamcast and the games that were on it. Yeah, no, it really is. It's one of the systems where it's like I have to really go shopping and buy more Dreamcast games. When I was at Gamers Paradise, I was looking specifically for Dreamcast games, but they didn't have very many with the original like disc artwork.
Gotcha.
And I don't like buying discs only. I want the actual, the cases and everything if I can get them.
Of course.
So and I need to build up that Dreamcast collection. But having these Bluetooth controllers, and not only that, but to your point, having the USB ones that can hook up to my computer will equally be helpful.
Yep.
Because I sometimes do a little retro gaming on my PC. Especially when I do live streams.
Mm-hmm.
And full disclosure, I only play games on my PC that I personally own.
Fair enough.
Because that's the way the law goes. Yep, that's the rule. So anything I stream, I actually own in my collection, which is awesome. And having USB versions of these will be very helpful, because then you feel like it's the familiarity of being able to play on those original controllers. It's the same way I just recently bought an N64 controller for my PC.
Oh yeah, how is that?
It's fantastic.
Okay.
It is exactly like an N64
really
controller, straight up, including the back where you can put in the save cartridge or the Rumble Pack.
Nice.
So works perfectly well. I tested it on some Super Mario 64 that I live streamed, and it was awesome.
Oh, you were playing with that when you live streamed?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No. I'm sorry.
Oh.
The first time I wasn't,
okay.
And I was struggling because I couldn't get the controller to do everything I wanted to. Then I hooked this one up and tested it on my computer, and it works really fine. I had some streaming issues that day, so I wound up not live streaming the day I was using it. But I'm gonna start live streaming more N64 specifically now because I have this controller.
Cool.
And it works. As for the NES and the Sega Genesis and whatnot, the N64 controller works really well for NES because it's got the crosshair and just an AB button. That's all you need.
Yep.
For Super Nintendo, you need a little bit more, which you could get away with on an N64 controller, but it's a little unwieldy with the C buttons.
Yeah.
Because the C buttons are different sizes.
Yep.
So I don't recommend using this for like Genesis or Super Nintendo, but for NES and N64, this thing's brilliant.
Okay.
And I highly recommend it, and it's on Amazon for like $12.
That's not bad at all.
Nope.
That's a steal. What I love with this deal, we've all bought controllers, just to replace a controller or use on the PC or the Mac. And of course, due to reasonings, licensing and copyright or whatever, sometimes the controller doesn't look the same, or it's got a little bit of a difference to it, whether it was done on purpose or just to get around stuff. The controllers that Retrobit's putting out for Genesis, when you look at these pictures, they're in the original boxes, and they are the original controllers, and it doesn't say Retrobit on the controllers. It will say Genesis or Sega, Dreamcast, Saturn. Like, these are 100% legit. We can say these are 100% legit controllers.
Yeah, they are officially licensed.
That's
controllers.
what I love about it. I don't know if you saw as well. I sent you I didn't realize it was the same tweet as before. I was sending Anthony some tweets just to show him some photos here. If you click on that last tweet I sent you, hashtag Sega Dreamcast Day.
Yeah, this is the one that has the S video AV cable, right?
Yeah, so you can convert your already Dreamcast into what looks like HDMI.
Yeah, I mean, and this will probably be like. This will probably be the first thing that I get, because being able to, especially because I really thought the Dreamcast games looked so beautiful. Mm-hmm. So being able to translate those to HDMI will be just fantastic.
Oh yeah. So I think Retrobit's doing real good with the way they've designed their system. And again, if you need replacement cables and stuff, it's all official. You're not going to worry about them blowing up on you or something like that.
Yeah, which is good. I do hate it when things blow up on me.
Well, remember for a while that was happening with the Xbox.
Yeah, I do remember that. So it's nice that there's a guarantee that things won't blow up, or if it does, they will replace it for you.
Hopefully. So with this year being the year of retro, I think this is a wonderful meld of new technology for old systems, and it's what I think it's what really we all were hoping for and what we need, and really hope others kind of follow suit. Sega's doing it right.
All right, Larry. I think this week I have a really interesting Did You Know? And I think it's definitely going to surprise you because it surprised the hell out of me.
Okay.
And since we were just talking about Retrobit and Hyperkin and all these, and their deal with Sega, I thought I would bring up a very interesting Did You Know on the Sega Dreamcast, which is personally one of my favorite systems, and sadly died a horrible death in 2001 when it was discontinued.
Man,
however, yeah, I know. A couple of things. First off, did you know that the Sega Dreamcast still created games up until 2007?
Really?
It had, the library technically had 688 titles. However,
okay.
Yeah. However, did you know that there are still games being created for the Sega Dreamcast today?
Really?
Yes.
Well, I know of one through Kickstarter, but that was about it.
Right. So in 2018, there are at least 4 games coming out on the Dreamcast. One is, and I'll just run through them really quickly. It's Intrepid Izzy, Xenocider, Saber Rider, and Slave with the A in lowercase.
Okay.
All different games do different things. However, those are only 4 of the games that are coming out this year. There are apparently a number of other games that are coming out for the Sega Dreamcast. So for anybody who is a Sega Dreamcast lover, like I am, just know that even though the system was discontinued in 2001, 17 years later, there are still games being developed for purchase on the Sega Dreamcast. And that is this week's Did You Know?
All right, we're going to start to close this episode up shortly. Hey, I forgot to ask you earlier, when you were in Vegas, you sent a photo and you posted a photo. They had a pretty cool video slot machine there.
Yeah, so I was wandering around. I think it was the I want to say it was the Luxor, but I can't be 100% sure because I was in way too many casinos. Giving them my money like I always do. And I came across, and this was the first time I ever came across one. Now, granted, I think it's been around for a couple of years now, but I came across a slot machine based off of the retro Atari game Centipede, which was really, really cool. And I'm like, I was like, that's random. I didn't know that there were any slot machine companies that were licensing, retro games. And, lo and behold, here's Centipede sitting there. So I sat down and I played it, and, I lost $5, after playing for a few minutes. And I'm like,
that's it.
Yeah, I went up and down a little bit, and then, wound up losing $5 and walked away. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to sit there and get the bonus round to see what the bonus round was like for Centipede, because I'm sure that could have been cool. But I did not get it. So maybe next time I go to Vegas, in a week or two.
Fair enough.
However, it's not the only. Apparently, it's not the only slot machine based off of a retro game, because a slot machine company made a deal with Atari. So there's also a Space Invaders slot machine, which I did not see.
Really?
But I decided to do a search online to see, what other slot machines. Well, I mean, when you think about it, slot machines, licensing TV shows and movies and stuff like that are all the rage for slot machines. Like when I'm walking around on a casino floor, most of the games now are themed. You have your Wheel of Fortunes, your Deal or No Deals, and then you have like Michael Jackson slot machines, Ellen slot machines, Game of Thrones. There was an Elvira slot machine.
I've seen that one. Yep.
Where when the reels stop, her boobs jiggle. And then there's a special boob tube bonus round. It's really funny.
Of course. Man.
But
I played just real quick. I played a Caddyshack one. Actually, I was winning big. It was a penny slot, but I was actually winning big on it. And every 5 seconds, you hear "That's all right." And you just see the gopher just dance on the screen.
Which is awesome.
It's awesome. Well, we're waiting.
Terrible. But again, so apparently now slot machine companies, they've been going after movies and video game and movies and television shows, but now they are apparently going after video games. So
why not?
they have made some deals to create slot machines with Atari and apparently Nintendo as well.
Really?
Because there is a Pac-Man slot machine, which will get all of your money. Yes, it will take
Look
all
at
of your
this
money.
thing. Holy cow.
So, yeah. So off we go. We have a Pac-Man slot machine. So I need to find this next time I go to Vegas because I want to play that.
Totally right. Oh my god! Oh, we'll put a link up on the page.
Yeah. So we have a Pac-Man
That's
slot
cool.
machine. So again, apparently, video games are going to become the thing in the slot machine world. So for any of you retro gamers who are also gamblers like me, I think it is our duty to track these suckers down and play them to our heart's content. Now, Larry, if I do this for the sake of our show, I get reimbursed, right?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
If I'm not
I guess
paying you, I'm not paying you.
I guess putting money into a slot machine is about as useful as putting money into a Virtual Boy. It just Oh,
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. Too soon. Too soon.
Too tsunami.
So anyway, so be on the lookout for some video game slot machines because now the hunt is on for me.
No, absolutely. That looks pretty sweet. Yeah, when I go to Atlantic City, I've seen some of those, and I'm definitely going to look out for some of these video game ones because I'm interested. I think I've seen a Konami one, but I'm definitely interested in that one that you played.
Yeah, so apparently the Pac-Man slot machine is located at the Orleans Casino in Las Vegas, so I know which casino I have to go to.
Okay. And you'll be there next week.
Wow, this dude just won $150 now that we're watching this.
Well,
spoiler alert.
With all that money people are winning, you can use it to buy awesome retro gaming merchandise. Actually, more specifically, retro gamers merchandise.
That's very, very true. We have a merchandise site now. Good Lord, you can buy things with our name on it. And when I say our name, I mean the Retro Gamers, not Anthony and Larry, because that would be stupid.
That's next.
No.
Oh, well. Definitely check us out. You can go. The link's going to be on the bottom, of course, but you can go to pro.tchip.com/theretrogamers. And that's T-Chip, T-E-E-C-H-I-P. We got mugs, we got hats, we got shirts, we got posters. As we speak, I'm literally working on putting together the leggings.
Which you said you would wear.
We'll talk about that. Drawstring bag, phone cases, not just iPhone, but phone cases. Honestly, check it all out. It's fun merchandise. Look, I'll be honest with you. I ordered a mug, and it looks beautiful. I'm not just saying that. It says Retro Gamers on it, nice white mug. Check it all out, because trust me, again, I've said it before, and I will say it 100 times. We will not be getting rich off of this, but it will extremely help offset a lot of the costs of keeping these shows posted somewhere, because storage fees do get a little pricey. So check out.
It'll also help with Larry's drug habit.
That what? Drug of choice, the Super Nintendo.
Drug of choice, the Virtual Boy.
Ooh, I'm chasing the dragon on that one.
Well, actually, you know what? If that is your drug of choice, you know what? I would have to encourage people not to buy our merchandise. So please, let's not encourage them for that reason.
Well, love is a drug.
Yes, and the Virtual Boy is everyone's anti-drug. Hashtag BB sucks.
Oh, boo. And with that, let's close up episode 75 here. The silver anniversary, I don't know, gold, whatever. Anniversary of the Retro Gamers.
I didn't even bother to look it up.
Honestly.
Well, we're 75.
I already feel old, honestly. So, Ant, enjoy the games that you got. Let us know how they are.
And then next week, I will have some coverage from the SoCal Retro Gaming Expo that's going on Saturday, January 20th, and Sunday, January 21st. I will be there in person. So if you're going to be at the SoCal Retro Gaming Expo, shoot us a message on Facebook. Would love to have you swing by, say hello, maybe record you and put you on the show.
Absolutely. Check it out. SoCal Retro Gaming Expo. Get your tickets. Go see Anthony and someone who's going to pretend to be me, because unfortunately I won't be there. And
I got a lookalike for you.
I'm dying to see what he looks like.
Looks like Kevin Smith.
Okay, then it's a look like
because it's Kevin Smith.
Oh, sweet! Tell him I wish I was able to listen to his podcast again. So enjoy SoCal Retro Gaming Expo. Not only that, you want to talk about, that's the West Coast. Remember, on the East Coast, the Aviator Retro Gaming Tournament and Expo, which is Saturday, February 17th at Aviator Arena. I think it's an arena. Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn. There you go. Everyone knows where Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn is if you live there. Use the code at checkout when you go to Eventbrite. Use the code RetroGamersPod to save 20% off adult and tournament tickets. And tournaments, they will have NFL Blitz, MLB Slugfest, NBA Jam, NHL 94.
I want to fly in just to play that.
And WWF No Mercy.
Oh, okay, I want to fly in just to play those two.
And we're
because I am the No Mercy champion.
You got to put your money where your mouth is at that point.
Oh no, trust me, I will.
The Retro Gamers will be there. We will be live streaming, podcasting. We're going to have some stuff set up as well for fun, just to kind of unwind while you're there. So check us out. Remember, use the offer code RetroGamersPod when you go through Eventbrite to save 20% off adult and tournament tickets. And with that, we're going to start to call it a week. Thank you again for listening, wherever you listen. Remember, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Amazon Alexa. Check us out at _Retro Gamers on Instagram, theretrogamers.com, and, of course, facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast. Oh, I'm tired.
That's a lot to say, Larry. That's a lot of promotional. I'm exhausted.
If
just
anything,
listening to you.
I'm a promotional hound. Check you all next week on the Retro Gamers.